Hey folks, it's Johnny at Prepper Base 1. You'd have to be a Buddhist monk living in a cave in Tibet not to see that this country is in a serious situation and it's going downhill fast. We have an economic crisis where the economy is slowly shutting down because of the controls of the current unpleasantness. We have domestic violence like we've never seen before, violence from the left, and now people are starting to stand up and shoot back. We've got an election coming up in November that has its own set of problems. And the economic situation alone is going to get worse and worse and worse by the time we have the election, and it's still going to be bad afterwards no matter who wins. Now, a lot of people have been prepping for a long time, and we got some new folks that I call pandemic preppers who have woken up and decided they need to start getting their act together because the world we live in is going to be a world of hurt for a long time. Now, you could have all the guns and ammo and water and food and medical supplies and everything else stored up all you want to, but until you have your main prep squared away, it isn't going to do you any good. So let's talk about that. Now I'm going to say some things in this video that are going to be difficult to hear, but it's important that people get over their normalcy bias and understand that the normal we knew 6 months ago is gone, and it's not coming back anytime relatively soon. And we're subject to go through a whole lot of miserable experiences and a whole lot of ugly before it gets better. For those of you that are thinking that the election will clear things up and it'll be okay after that, it doesn't matter who wins. It's either going to be ugly or uglier, and we need to get ready for it. People need to put the normalcy biases aside and understand they're going to be facing some tough situations. The economic situation alone is going to get a lot worse before it ever gets better. If this country experiences a total socio-economic collapse, which I think is quite possible, you're going to see a lot of things you've never seen before, and they're not going to be pleasant. So I'm going to throw out some scenarios for you to think about. These are examples of the type of thing you can see, and you're going to have to learn how to deal with them. And you need to think about it ahead of time so you can get at least some sense of a moral compass, what you will and won't do, and how. Let's start out with your non-prep neighbor. Okay, for a long time you and your family have been prepping. You've stockpiled your food, your water, all the things you need to survive an extended economic collapse, but your neighbor hasn't. But this is a guy that you play golf with every weekend, and your wives shop together. Your kids play together, they go to school together, you have them over for barbecues. But about 3 weeks into a serious food shortage, they're at your door begging for food. Now if you get a little bit extra, okay, you can help them out, but at some point you're going to have to say no. And that's not going to be easy. And what are you going to do when he comes back with a gun? And maybe bring some neighbors with a gun. Are you willing to shoot him in front of his wife and kids to protect your family? Probably so. But are you going to be able to internalize it afterwards? This is something you need to think about. I think it's possible that we could degenerate into a civil war right after the next election. I think it's very possible. But it's not going to be like the last one with major armies facing each other over a battlefield. It's going to be armed groups of people fighting for control of neighborhoods and cities. In situations like that, there's a phenomenon called feral children that most people have never seen. What happens in situations like that is a lot of young children get separated from their parents for various reasons. The parents get killed, arrested, whatever, and they will band together. Now, children that young are very intelligent, and they're a lot more intelligent than most people give them credit for, and they have no moral compass, and they have no adult leadership. They will form gangs of small children who are determined to survive. Are you prepared to deal with a 12-year-old child who can barely hold the gun that he's shooting at you with? You better decide now how you're going to deal with it. If you want to read a good book about feral children, there's an old novel called The Lord of the Flies, and it's a very good read. But that will be a problem, and you need to be prepared to deal with it. Now, those are just two extreme examples of situations you might encounter in a total societal economic breakdown. And it's important that you start thinking about things like this ahead of time so you're not shocked by them and you don't hesitate to deal with the situation. But there's some other components to mental prepping that you need to consider too, and that's discomfort. Most Americans have never really been hungry. When they say they're hungry, that means they're an hour late for dinner. Try being hungry. Go on a 3-day fast. Just hydrate yourself, but just don't eat for 3 days. Number one, it'll be good for your body, and number two, you'll start getting a sense of what it's like to go without food for a period of time. Do you live in an extremely hot area like I do, where 114 in the summer is no big deal? Try turning your air conditioner off for a couple of days to see how you function even inside your house when the temperature rises and how you sleep well at night. And the same thing can be said for extremely cold areas too. Try going without heat for a couple of days and see what it's like. Just get yourself used to it. How many of you have actually taken your bug out bag, thrown it on your back, and walked a mile, or 2, or 3? Okay, try it. Because any combat veteran will tell you that there is a mental component to humping a heavy rucksack a long distance. Now this is a short video, and I'm just trying to get you some ideas of how you need to start preparing mentally for the hardships that we potentially can see coming down the road here, and I think in one degree or another we are going to see. And hopefully I've got you thinking about this ahead of time. So if this video helped you any, I'd appreciate the thumbs up. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. It won't cost you a dime. And until next video, God bless and watch 6.